Welcome back. Sun setting around the region. It's pretty in Dublin, but the rest of them's kind of whatever. Temperatures are getting back from the 80s into the 70s. Now should be a relatively warm evening. We're going to be seeing low temperatures that are a good jump up from a couple nights ago. About the same as last night, though. So nothing to track on our radar at this time. A recap of today. We topped off at 82 in Macon. That is 8 degrees above the average of 74. And this morning's low of 60 degrees is 13 above the average of 48 and 12 above the temperature we woke up to yesterday morning, which was tied with the average of 48 for yesterday's date. So we are now firmly above average as we move forward, and it is going to be very toasty to end October and head into November. Tonight's the second last night of the month, 60 degrees. That is not October conditions by any means, at least not late October, maybe early, but even that's still above average. Southeasterly wind around 5 miles per hour. Could be some fog thanks to the muggier conditions as well, and you can firmly see we are going to be hovering right around that 60-degree mark heading into the start of your Halloween. So maybe early on tomorrow we'll have a little bit of fog, kind of a spooky morning, but then we get into the afternoon and it's partly sunny and highs in the low to mid 80s. It's going to feel like a summer afternoon, not like Halloween, but don't let it kill your spirit because the weather during trick or treat will be phenomenal. It's going to be warm enough for those who are wearing costumes that maybe would make you feel colder if it were a typical October night, and not quite warm enough for those who would, or rather it'd be warm, or for people who are wearing heavier costumes, it's not going to be too warm outside, right? You got something that's long sleeves covering you up or whatever. You shouldn't have to sweat too much. So we're looking good for Halloween. Saturday, now we're getting a little more cloud cover as we get into the weekend because of that front coming in, and it's really not going to have a whole lot of impact outside of some added cloud cover and a slight drop in temperature from Saturday into Sunday. As for the tropics, area A here will track east if it does develop into a depression. Still 40% odds over the next 7 days and 0% odds in the next 48 hours. So we're not too concerned about that. The U.S. not in the line of any potential tropical events right now. That's always good. Heading through this evening, calm, muggy. We get some fog heading into the start of tomorrow, so do be aware of that possibility if you got to drive through it. Low beam headlights for our afternoon. Temperature should firmly get into the 80s. We basically all got in the 80s today. I think anywhere that didn't get to the 80s today should get there tomorrow. There will definitely be more sun than what's being depicted here. This model has been extremely aggressive on the cloud cover this week. I don't know if you noticed that, but it has been mostly sunny every day except for Monday morning, even though this is insisting on partly to mostly cloudy. I will agree with that on Friday into Saturday. As that front starts to come in closer, there will be a little more cloud cover, and it is going to be a little muggier outside, but you're still not seeing any rain chances on Friday either. So here's a look at Halloween. 83 for the high tomorrow. We're all going to be in the low to mid 80s. I do think Abbeville, McRae will be pushing 85, 86. McRae got to 86 today, so could maybe get 87, 88 tomorrow, honestly. Going to be a very, very warm Halloween, but here is that trick-or-treat planner again. Low 80s around the start, upper 60s by the end, so that temperature window really works for like basically every costume. We'll have your extended forecast in 10 seconds. 41 NBC AccuWeather 7-day forecast is brought to you by Volume Chevrolet. Toasty end to the month and toasty beginning to November. We'll set the clocks back on Sunday. That's our one somewhat cool day. That's still a good 4 to 5 degrees above the average for that time of year. And then we have next week where we're going to be seeing highs that are pushing 15 degrees above the average, and it just feels like summer does not want to go away.